Hey guys, welcome back to Young and Unscripted. So today we have a really exciting guest on. We have on Alex Tudor, who is an ex-cricketer. Alex, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling today?
I'm all right. Feeling good, feeling that the weather's changing, the sun's come out. So when the sun comes out, moods change, atmosphere change. So I'm in a good place.
Yeah, very excited for today.
Thank you, yes.
Excited for the podcast.
Yeah.
So firstly,
yes,
could we start the podcast by you just telling our audience who you are and a bit of a background about yourself?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, obviously I come from a cricketing background. Name's Alex Tudor. I played for Surrey, Essex in England, sort of in the late noughties, early 2000s, sort of had a 14-year career. Was lucky enough to go to some fantastic countries that I wouldn't have gone to if I didn't have cricket. Met some fantastic people along the way, friends that I've had since the age of 8 and 9, and continue friendships. Like, I suppose one that everyone will most probably know is Andrew Flintoff. I've known Andrew, or Freddie, should I say, since the age of 8. We came across each other, Graham Swan, others that I've met early on in my career, and to this day, are still friends. I'm 47, and we keep that quiet. But and today, and that's what I suppose sport has given me, is those friendships, the relationships, and friends that you'll have for the rest of your life.
Yeah, amazing. Wow. So where did this passion start from? When did you start playing cricket?
I suppose from my dad. My parents, my mum and dad are from Barbados. Beautiful country. If you haven't been, you need to get it on the bucket list.
Yes.
They came over in the Windrush time, so they came over in the 60s. The jobs that the government were offering at the time were so my mum and my aunts who came over, they were nurses. Dad worked for transport because they wanted to, get the country going again and that type of thing. So that's what a lot of that generation from Jamaica, Barbados, all the other beautiful Caribbean islands, that's what they came and did, got the country going. So my dad had that passion, and he instilled that in my older brother and I. My brother also played cricket, Raymond Tudor, signed professional papers at Surrey. But unfortunately for him, he had a double stress fracture in his first season. So his professional career was cut short, which was a shame because my brother was a really talented cricketer. I would always say he was better than me as a bowler and a fielder. I would think I had him on the batting side of things, but as a fielder, he was so athletic, unbelievable, caught pigeons. If the ball went up in the air and it came near him, he wasn't going to drop it. He was unbelievable. So it was just a shame. So I suppose it was then for me to carry the torch, and luckily I was, especially in the younger years, I didn't get injured. That changed as the years went on, but yeah, I had a really good career. Have no regrets. Yes, could you have done things differently? Yes, but that's all part of living, and I suppose the journey. Isn't it, as you go? But, I loved the time that I played in. The people that I played against some of the greats of the game, with and against. And I suppose it's got me to the human being I am today, I suppose.
Yeah. So when did you sign your first professional contract?
Yeah, so I signed it in the winter of 94. My first year was 95. So a long time ago.
How old were you then?
I was 18. I was 17, 18. So, I was really young. But I always knew from an early age that cricket was the one that I wanted to do and be professional. So all my energy went into that. It would drive my mum mad because obviously she saw years earlier that my brother had an injury. So she was always like, with your studies at school and stuff, learn from your brother. Have a backup plan. All this. I was like, Mum, Nana, I'll be fine. I'll be okay. And touch wood, it was okay for me. But when I speak to young people now, I'd always say, listen, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yes, obviously you have that dream, you have that drive, so go for it. But just be aware, because sometimes the decision's not in your hands. It's someone making a decision on you, and you don't have sort of no choice in that. Obviously, you put your your best foot forward and you give them everything that you feel that you've got to offer. But at the end of the day, it's their opinion on you.
Yeah, and we say the same about our industry.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much we work or we prep for that audition, it's not up to us at the end of the day.
It's not.
We have no
up to the
control.
vision.
It's 100%. And, you know, and so you always got to make sure that you do have that backup plan.
Yeah.
Just in case. Yeah. And I do find sometimes, especially within cricket, lads who later on played, but then during the winter, because obviously cricket's only a 6-month sport, especially in England, maybe not now because of all this franchise stuff. Don't want to sort of go into too much of it. Obviously, there's a lot of franchise, IPL, which is in India, the Big Bash in Australia, the CPL in the West Indies. So lads can go around and sort of guns for hire, really, and go and play franchise cricket for a few weeks, a month or so, earn lots of money. Yeah. But back in the day, it was like 6 months. Some guys will go off to Australia, South Africa, places like that to get some cricket in the winter. But generally, if you was in England, that was it. So you sort of had to either go and get another job or go and do something, or you just had the winter off and you just chilled and went to the gym, train, work on your body and all that type of thing. But a lot of guys would go overseas to get their cricket, get the weather, and then come back round about sort of February, March, and then hit it again when April comes. So that's how it was. But you know, I was fortunate, always was asked to go on a tour, be it, you know, went to South Africa very young, like 93 was the first time, you know, went out to South Africa after the apartheid. So we were the first young England side to go out. We was under 15 side. And one experience that was to go out there and see a country that, you know, was torn apart and, you know, it was rebuilding and, you know, the great man Nelson Mandela and all this type of thing. And you go there and you see the sort of, not so much the segregation, but you saw it was, you know, there was a certain, you know, you would have the white, but you sort of saw like, so the white people were sort of the bosses and in charge and that, and in the background, it was the black people, everyone else is working and working hard.
Did you say you were under 15 when you went?
Yeah, so I was in England under 15 at that time, and I remember it was like 6 weeks. Had to get the okay from school because it was during school time, and they were like, you know, mum and dad were like, "Is it okay for my son to go?" And they were like, "Yeah, cool. That's a great
big
opportunity." Oh no, went on my own.
How was that?
It was amazing. It was amazing, you know, and went to all to a beautiful place. South Africa's such a beautiful place. Yeah. And, you know, we went safari and just seeing all that, the food, you know, the English pound is very strong out there. Actually, only last Easter, we went safari again. Just amazing, such a beautiful place. And you see the kids and, you know, I work in a school now and, you know, trying to get the kids to be smart and take care of their parents and stuff like shirts undone, shoelaces untied. It winds me up. But out there, me and my colleague who went with him, we were like, not one child out there, not one child in South Africa looked out of place. So like at the time we went, they were sort of, you know, going back to school from whatever state they were, a province, should I say, they were going to, and they just looked immaculate. And I reckon they're taught, you know, about how the outside world judge you. Yeah. You just make sure that you look right. Yeah. And, you know, your manners are right. You look good because first impressions, my dad always talked about first impressions. And first impressions, even though you may not think about it, first impressions counts. And that might be that person's only opportunity seeing you. And I always say later in life where, you know, you might be looking for a job or stuff. Yeah. And that person may run a business and you're going through the door, but their first impression on you is like, but you were scruffy. I don't want that representing my business. So you're always aware your manners and be respectful. And so it's how you present yourself is so important. And I'm massively constantly telling to these kids. It's like sometimes they hear, and I said, listen, if I can get through to one kid, two kids, then I think, you know, I mean, I've done my job. But, you know, it's just trying to get through to the masses and just say, look, massively be on your appearance. You know, I'm lucky enough, I work in an independent school, so generally people say, oh, you know, that's people who have money and stuff like that. But I just said, money don't give you manners and how you represent yourself and stuff like that, right? And
sometimes gives you entitlement. So
and it's the thing, and that's massive what we talk about, you know, the entitlement of the kids, you know, and we talk about that on a sense of, you know, we have teams and your child might not get in that team. So how best do you tell your child, okay, you didn't get in this week. Go to training, work hard, show the coach why you want to be in that team, blah, blah, blah. But no, what do we get? Emails from parents. Oh, my son or daughter upset and all that. And I'm like, but that's not reality, right? And it's like
the real world.
and it's like trying to teach them resilience. And I think that's missing at the minute from the young people. And I just think, listen, you know, you can't be there all the time for them. All you can do is try and send them down a path and just say, look, if you're upset, if you feel misgrieved that you're not in a team, the best way of doing it is you turn up to training, you turn up on time, you look right. When the coach is doing whatever drill it is or you're training, you're there, you're first, you know, you're helping others, your body language is right, you're not sulking. Guarantee you'll get somewhere. And it's not always the most talented in the room that gets to go.
No.
It's the one that's working hard, that's putting in those hours. And I always talk about, listen, I know cricketers, I've played with them, and I said talent only takes you so far. And I said talent for me is when you see someone, and it could be in your world as well, and it just looks easy. Yeah. So I always talk about like a Roger Federer in tennis. When he plays tennis, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's just lovely. Ronnie O'Sullivan on a snooker table. Yeah. When it was cricket, it was Brian Lara, Sachin Tendulkar. They just made it look easy. Yeah. And there's others that didn't have the ability, but they've got to work hard. But they still had fantastic careers. Of course. And I think in your world as well, it might be you just see someone like they know their lines. They're just on their time. You know, you think about like Viola
Davis.
We always. That's always
what
we love her.
But so. Back in the day, a lot of people, they talk about like Denzel Washington. Listen, we've lost a juggernaut recently in Gene Hackman, way before your time in that. But listen, man was unbelievable. He's been in some of the best films. He's gone toe to toe with some of the best on camera, and held his own. He was fantastic. And sadly, we've lost him recently. But it was like, you know, some people just make it look easy, but it's the ones that actually put in that hard work. You know, I think of people like Will Smith when he first started. So when he got his gig to do The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he had done no acting.
Which is crazy.
Right?
Oh, really?
He had done no acting, right? Wow. All he had done is he was in, you know, whatever they call it out there, you know, not college or he was in junior school.
Music stuff.
Yeah, so he had a hit while he was still at school.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? He had a hit with Jazzy Jeff. And they had going to school and they had like the number one hit and whatever. And then it was Quincy Jones, he went to Quincy Jones' house and he had like all these producers and all this in there. He said, look, here's Benny Medina, who is the real Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's his story. And he was like, listen, you're going to go in that room and you're going to pitch. And he's going, what are you talking about, man? I need like a couple of weeks to sort this out. He goes, I'll give you half hour. Are you good? And he was like, well, it's going to have to be. Yeah. And literally learnt some lines, boom, half an hour, went in there, did his thing, and then Quincy Jones, people know, just like, producers, are you happy? Good? Yeah, let's get it going. Yeah. Get the contract signed, get your lawyers and get them done. And that's how it came about. Yeah. And it's like, that opportunity, that's what I'm saying. So sometimes someone might just put you on the spot in your world and say, right, okay, I want you to read that script, and I want you to come in and I want you to do it for me. And like, you know, obviously, you know, you want to prepare and all this. You might only have half an hour.
To be able to adapt.
And just go in there and you just got to be ready. So whatever skills you have, always got to, it's a bit like, you know, within the sporting world, always got to train. Always telling my son with his football side, always got to train. Because if you're not training, someone else is training. Because they might be hungrier than you. Yeah. And you've got to be ready. When that opportunity comes, you've got to take it. Yeah, because it could be a while. It could be months. It could be weeks, months, years. But when it comes, make sure you're ready and you take it. It happened for Harry Kane. I always sort of use sporting analogies. Harry Kane was on loan, Leyton Orient, whatever. Couldn't get into the Tottenham side. Adebayor was the main striker. He got injured. Tim Sherwood was the coach at the time who sort of came in for a few months because the other coach had got sacked. So he came in, he went, I'm going to use some of these youngsters. Harry Kane, play. Boom, never look back. And then whatever he's done now, and I mean, bare goals for Tottenham, Bayern Munich, England, boom, 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 rest is it. Yeah. He was ready. And that's it to say you've got to be ready, man, when that chance comes.
And what was that experience like for you when you were younger? Were you a part of a really like competitive and resilient cohort? And did that push you to be more resilient, or were you naturally like that?
I mean, I think where I grew up in, you know, I had a good grounding. I had an older brother who's 5 years older than me. I had his friends. I had the people around where we lived. We had an estate, Henry Prince Estate across the road. Yeah, Willow Tree which was our estate at the back of our house. And it was always competitive, and you always had kids, and we were playing everything. Football, cricket, you know, athletics was on, we'll do athletics. Tennis was on, we'd go down to tennis schools. Whatever was on, we're playing, because we're kids, we just want to play. Because obviously we didn't have social media, no phone, no nothing. You just had to go out and play.
Be outside,
and you're just mixing, right? So that's where it came. So, and being from South London, I don't know what it was in the water or whatever, but a lot of sports people come from London. Like my good mate Clinton Morrison played football. You know, my friend Eddie played like really high level non-league football. Played for years. We had Keith. Yeah, forgive me, don't forget his surname. He was top judo. Yeah, Donna Knight. She played basketball for England. Like we had just something
very successful
in there, and it was, and,
Yeah.
and you know, people trying to put their finger in it. I think, you know, you had youth clubs and all that places to go to back then, where now you don't have. The council stopped all that funding and all that type of thing, and that's why you see the young people on the street and stuff like that. They got nowhere to go. We had a place to go. You know, even my brother, you know, when they went to school, come back from school, we used to call it junior club. So from like 6 to 9, parents knew that where they were safe, but they're in a place where they're thriving, they're developing. And
what would go on in the junior clubs? Was that
listen? So you had people in there, sport. If you want to be arty, you could do some arty. It wasn't so much like doing what you guys are doing now and stuff like that, but it was people going out there, you play football, you want to play some snooker, badminton, you know, you're getting creative, and then we'll play against another youth club. And you're just going, that's where that competitive juices are coming from, just competing. And being where you are, you want street cred, so you want to be good. You don't want to be rubbish. You want, when you walk street, people go, right, that's Jude. Let's don't mess with his cricket, he's good. What, Clinton? Don't listen, baller. You know what I mean? And it was, and that's how it was. And that's how you got your props. So you wanted to be good, so you just go out there, say sort of show off, because all sports people, literally you are showing off because you want to be out there. You want to do it in front of, you don't want to do it in front of nobody. You want to do it in front of people so they can see what you're doing. So you want to go out there, but it's all about that preparation, working hard. If it's not quite right, making it right. So it's just hours. They say like 24 hours in a day. Don't sleep sleep and get out there. But it's putting that work in, and you always find the people that reach the top, whatever business it is, you know, they started young. And they put that work, like 20-hour days you hear about people putting in and stuff like that. They work like, you know what I mean? And by the time they get 40, 50, they retire. Because they've put that work in, but you're thinking they've done their 20, 30 years. And then they retire. They don't want to work till they're long, but it's putting that time in, and then you live your life. You know, you go on your holidays and you want to see your grandkids later and your kids and all that time. You can do that. But it's putting that prep in and putting that work in first. Yeah, so it's like, you know what I mean? I always say, get up early. You know what I mean? Be it if you want to train, do some sort of exercise, whatever, get your breakfast on board and then go out there and get the day. And then, you know, when you sleep, as long as you get a good, and when I'm talking about sleep, I mean, don't go into bed and then you go on your phone and you're scrolling and all of that, and your eyes and like that, and you put, you know what I mean? You like this and you fall asleep and you like your phone still there on the reels and everything. Turn it off. Put it down. Get your sleep. Wake up. You'll feel great.
So how many hours of sleep? Because it seems like you're talking about 2 hours of sleep.
No. I'm talking about. Listen, I don't need long sleep. If I sleep too long, I get headaches.
Give me
6, 7. Give me 6, 7 hours. I'm good. And I wake up.
I'm an 8 to 10.
And I get up. I do my exercise. I've got my young man at the minute. 100 push-ups a day we do.
Wow.
Yeah. On that thing, I'll either jump on the bike. We got a Peloton during lockdown when, you know, you couldn't go out and all that stuff that was going on then. So we got a Peloton because we don't want to be restricted to certain times. That you can do whatever you want. You want to do a strength class, you can do a strength class. You want to do a bike, and different hours, music, everything. So it's wicked. Moving. So we did that. I'm not trying to get any props from Peloton, but you know what I'm saying? Just saying. But, you know what I mean? It's doing that, but it's doing that. And I suppose my life has been routine. So like, I will feel like I can't function if I don't do some sort of
lazy.
exercise and I'm too lazy. So you just got to go out there. Don't get me wrong, listen, I love my TV.
Yes.
Confess, I love my TV. I watch a lot of shows. I'm very Americanized in what I watch. Okay. So I could sit in front of the TV as long as I've got some food and I'm happy, but then I still need to...
You know when it's time
I know when it's time to go and do your thing.
Going back to the burnout, though, how do you prevent that and what advice would you give to people? Because a lot of questions we get asked and a lot of just kind of within our group and within people who are going into the creative field, whether that's for sports or for acting, how do you prevent that burnout? How do you know when enough is enough and you've got to listen to your body?
I suppose that comes with experience.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know all the answers I know now. As I said, I'm a 47-year-old man. I've been retired for 16 years.
Yeah.
And every day's a teachable moment. You're always learning, right? So all I would say now is, how would I do things different? Your food, what you eating.
Yeah.
Because you are what you eat. So what's going through there is going to make you a certain way. If you're eating food that makes you lethargic and you want to sleep, it's going to make you like you don't really want to do anything. But so as I said, you've got to have a pattern. But everyone's different. Every individual is finding what works. There'll be certain days you feel like, I actually feel energized.
Yeah.
But if you've got a journal or whatever, you write down, why do you feel energized? What is it that you did? Did you get good sleep? And you jot it. You know, we are creatures, and I'm sure you guys are as well. When something goes well, especially with sportsmen, they're very superstitious. You know what I mean? So it's like,
do that again.
I'm wearing that again.
Works.
That breakfast, I'm having that breakfast again.
It's so
and I'm
true.
doing that, and it's very
repeat
resonating.
the behaviours.
If you smash an audition, it's going to be, why was it? What did I do?
Always reflect.
Did I?
Be like,
You
what did I do?
always do.
Yeah,
And I was always like, why? You know, in my playing career, why did I bowl well? Did I train well the day before? Did the coach work me hard? Did I take it easy? And generally, it was I worked hard, and then got the rewards.
Yeah.
You know, there's no shortcuts. I said people that look to take shortcuts will get found out. Generally, it's the hardest person in the room working is generally the ones that thrive and they move forward. So going back to your question about, you know, how do you prevent burnout? It's, you got to live it, isn't it? I think you got to live that experience, as in like, why are you burnt out? Are you watching your phone till all stupid hours of the day, of the night, you know, 1 o'clock, you're not putting your phone down because you're just reeling, and it's very addictive, and we know that. But, you know, if that's the case, then say, right, I need to put that down. Am I having a breakfast? Most important, I know it's very basic, but am I having a breakfast in the morning?
Habits.
Is it either I'm having a protein shake or a shake, or just if I'm not having a cooked breakfast or a cereal or something, I need something.
Yeah.
You know, I always say your body is a high performance car, and this thing that we have that the God gave us is unbelievable. Use it in the right way, it will look after you.
Yeah.
So, you know, you need to fuel it. Yeah, you need to fuel it. You know, our body, 70% of it is water, and we're putting fizzy drink and all them foolishness in it. No, you know, we were lucky enough before my gran passed away. You know, she was 95, 96, and we went on a holiday on Easter, and we went out there. And the kids just, Grandma, how you look, like no help, on her own.
Yeah.
Just her hearing was bad, that was it.
Yeah.
Grandma, how you look so when you eat from the earth? Eat from the ground. If it's not from the ground, don't eat it.
Don't eat processed food.
You know what I'm saying? No processed food, just eat from the earth.
Home cooking.
But then also, I feel like, of course, it's all to do with your diet and what you're consuming. But I think also a lot of it is just stretching yourself beyond your limits. Because did you ever feel like that? There must have been a time in your career.
Yeah, so sometimes people will say to me, sometimes you feel comfortable. Sometimes it's put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. But also, I felt when I trained hard, and I remember, I'm going to give him a name check because it was great for me. Dave Gilbert, he came over, Australian from New South Wales, played for Australia, came over as our coach. And he had two talented young lads in myself and Ben Hollyoak. God bless you. You know, Ben's not here any longer. And he worked us hard. He saw something in us, but he didn't want that just to be, as you say, about the talent. He just like, I need these young men to work hard because I think I can get a tune out of them. And I remember once before a game, the day before, he had me bowling like an hour in the nets. I'm like, Coach, I'm playing tomorrow. I'm tired. Don't you worry about that. Do what you need to do. And I did. I worked hard. And then next game, got 6 wickets. And he said, let that be a lesson to you. Like,
Okay.
need to put that work in. The reason why you got those 6 weeks is because you put the work in the day before. Don't just settle for just doing enough. Just go a little bit beyond. I'm not saying like do hours and hours, but just, you know, when
Push
people
yourself.
talk about David Beckham when he was bending those balls and all that, he took a bag of balls when everyone's gone home and he's training and doing that. That's why he did that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. You know, people see all the glitz and the glamour. That came later.
Yeah.
But to get him to that point was the hard work. Frank Lampard, always after training, boom, banging balls in, like just scoring, you know, practicing his shooting, his scoring goals and that. And hence why he was the record goal scorer for Chelsea, you know, as a midfielder, as an attacking midfielder. It was ridiculous. He wasn't a striker, he scored bare goals. And it was the hard work he put in. So it's no coincidence. Anyone in business, you know, you think of Lord Sugar, you think of Branson, you think of all the people that have made something out of their lives. A lot of people have, but the ones that have got to the top from that hard work. It's as simple as that.
I feel like you have to make sacrifices.
Yeah, you do.
To get that success.
Yeah, you do, and you
Yeah.
find it in sport generally. You know, if you're in relationships and stuff, that can be difficult.
Okay.
But hopefully, if you get the right person and he understand, but also you understand as well when you may have the odd day off. You know, you got to have that time for that
Quality
family.
time.
Yeah, you got to have that quality time. But you know, you're out there working. You're out there, and you know, especially within sport, you know, the money is good. You know, they're living nice. You know, you've got your nice car, you got your nice houses, you're going on nice holidays. You got it comes from something that comes from blood, sweat, and tears, right? So it's like you got to get the balance right.
Yeah.
You got to get the balance right. And I think, you know, generally, you know, if you get the right person, you know, you can make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about those perks with sports. What was your highlight? What was your main part that you loved about it? Obviously, apart from the actual sport itself.
I just think I love meeting people. I mean, it's taken me to some places. I've met people I thought I would never have met. I've met the Queen. I went to South Africa in 2000. I met the Queen in Soweto. You know, when there was a township. Remember Nasser Hussain was going, I would like you to go and represent the England team and go and meet the Queen. Me and Andrew Caddick went. We flew over, went to Soweto, met the Queen. That was unbelievable. She was lovely, lovely, lovely lady. So I feel blessed, met her. Got a proud picture of that meeting in my house. You know, Mick Jagger. So when I got which I was supposed say famous for, people know me for, is I got 99 Not Out.
Yeah. Can we talk about that quickly? Actually, I feel like a lot of people.
Okay.
We'll talk about it after your.
Oh no! So I'm saying, so I got this score. We'll talk about that day, but I got that score, and at the time I was sponsored by Puma, all right. And the guy who was looking after me, he was like, "Oh, Mick Jagger's opening a performing arts school in Kent. Would you like to come?" I was like, "Yeah, of course, yeah." So I go there. It's Mick Jagger, Jerry Hall. He's doing like it was. So in a way, I turn up. World's press is there. Because, you know, Mick only comes into town for 3 months of the year because obviously tax reasons they can't be here longer. So he can't bear press. So, you know, I'm in the foyer. And as I said, Jerry Hall walks past, daughter walks past, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, some must be Mick's PA comes up to me, goes, "Oh, Mick knows you're here. He wants to meet you." I'm like, so for you kids, you won't know. So back in the day, what you watch as Punk with Ashton Kutcher, we oldies had a program called Jeremy Beadle. He was a guy who go out and he'll stitch people up. So I was like, "Is Jeremy Beadle here?" And they were like, he was like, no. Mick's an avid cricket fan. He knows you're here, he wants to meet you. So anyway, I know 2 twos, he goes away. And about 5 to 10 minutes later, his body comes through, parts. It's Mick Jagger. "Alex, lovely to meet you. I was on tour and I closed it down. I was egging for you to get your 100. I'm like, "That's Mick Jagger. That's
my
like
God.
Rolling Stones, one of the biggest artists in the world." I'm like, he knows who I am. I was like, "Yeah, kill me now." Like, I was like, this is cool. This is cool.
It. Yeah,
And it has. And as I said, I've been blessed and I've met some amazing people in the film world, in TV world, within sport and stuff like that. And it's been great. And it's been great. I always say to people, I'm just a South London boy, went to date school, but dreams can come true. Have belief and work hard and have good people around you. Because as you start to succeed, all of a sudden, as my brother would call them, the people, the hangers-on, you know, people, because it's like what you can do for them now. You know, because when I was at the height of my career, you know, I was getting into nightclubs free and all this type of thing, getting VIP and stuff. All of a sudden, my phone's blowing up. As
Where
soon
were
as
you before?
you know, as soon you understand, and then as soon as I got injured, phone's not ringing. And my brother says, "See, Al, I tell you, but because I've got a good heart, and I'm like, no, it's not like that." He goes, "All right."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, Al, trust me." You know what I mean? I was like, and it was the phone's not blowing up because obviously I can't get them into the club, feeling all that now because you know what I mean. And it was, and you know, you have to. That's why I'm always skeptical, and I always used to say to my daughter, I was like, you know, when you go on social media, be careful because all those followers, you don't know them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, I know it's all about the likes and all that type of thing, but I said just be mindful. You have a small pool of people that are your ride and dies, like literally, you know, at a drop of a hat, if you're in trouble, you make a phone call, they will be there for you. There's only a handful of people that will be there. That's all you need, right? And you need people that are going to be honest with you. Like when you're messing up, they're telling you you're messing up. If you need that sort of pat on the shoulder, they'll pat you on the shoulder and all that sort of good feeling. But you need people who are going to be real with you, not people that's going to say yes every time you say something and agree with everything you say. Have healthy debate, and you're allowed to disagree. As you said, you know, free democracy is like people are allowed to have their opinion as long as you're respectful and you know what I mean. It's like I don't agree with you, but that's your opinion. That's cool. That's fine, and we keep it moving, and that's how it should be.
Can we go back to talking about the 99 Not Out? I feel like we can't let you leave the room today without talking about two things: the 99 Not Out and the Brett Lee, which I know, but we have to talk about it. So let's start with 99 Not Out. Start with a high.
Okay.
So this was the height of your career. This is obviously a really incredible achievement to achieve in cricket.
Yeah.
Can you talk about it?
Yeah.
How did it happen?
Okay, so the winter before I got asked as a 21-year-old, so I had my 21st birthday on the plane going to Australia, the Ashes, which is, I suppose, the World Cup's the only thing that the English cricket public really care about. If you're winning the World Cup, win the Ashes. That's it. You understand? So I got asked to be part of the squad to go to the Ashes in '98. So go out there, have my 21st birthday on the plane. Everything was cool, wicked. So I have that winter, made my debut, did well, whatever, got injured, came back. So that next summer, '99, England play a World Cup, don't do well. Alex Tudor, good friend of mine, he was captain at the time. He got sacked. David Lloyd, who was everyone's sort of famous commentator, played for England, was coach and played at Lancashire, worked on Sky for years. Bumble, people will know him about. He was the coach. He got laters. So we had no coach, and it was Nasser Hussain's first game as captain. So it was Nasser Hussain's game. We're playing New Zealand at Edgbaston, Birmingham. I get called up. I play, and the games sort of can go one way or the other. The pitch wasn't very good, and it was a Saturday afternoon. Saturday, actually, so I say. So Saturday morning, I've gone in as night watchman. So night watchman is where you would get a lower order batsman. So you've got players 1 to 11, and from sort of 8 downwards is like the lower order. So everyone above is like either an all-rounder or basically their currency is to get runs. So mine, I could bat a bit, but, you know, I'm predominantly a bowler. So no one's looking for me to like dominate or do anything. So I go in as night watchman because a main batter goes out. There's like 20 minutes left of the day. So instead of sacrificing a main batter, you send in one of your lower order, right? Which to this day winds me up because I'm like, your currency, you're paid, your skill set is to bat. So to send someone whose skill set's not to do as well as you, why would you send them in? But that's a different thing anyway. We won't go there. But so I go in, I face one ball, miss it. We come off a bad light because it's too dark. Obviously, you know, with cricket, you need the light, everything like that. So come off a bad light, go have, so the end of the day, go back to the hotel, chilled it anyway. My good friend, Mark Rampakash, Strictly Come Dancing winner 2006, you know what I mean? Yeah. Mark, boy, he killed it. So he was my batting buddy. And I knew Mark well, so he sort of trained me up in the morning. He's very, determined, committed. So he's very much on the process and getting his balls, hitting the ball and stuff like that. So we're doing that, and then Graham Gooch, who's like a legend of the game, stalwart of English cricket. He was sort of our manager at the time, sort of stepping in, and he sort of gave us a little bit of a talk and stuff like that. He said, look, if the ball's out there, go out there and give it a bit of a thrashing and stuff like that. So I said, okay. And I went out that next morning and, I just had there's times where you just sort of, as a sports person, you sort of, people talk about when you're in the zone. And in the zone's when whatever you're doing, you feel invincible. That was my day. I just went out there. I had a great morning / afternoon. In a way, we're going to win the game. We got to a point where we're going to win the game. It was we're going to win the game. And Graham Thorpe, who sadly is no longer here, a teammate of mine, and sadly passed. He came out to bat, and he was like England's best batter in the 90s, early noughties. He's England's best batter. He comes out, crowd's going nuts because they're willing me to get to this 100. He comes out, he's like, "Oh, this is what it's about, isn't it? Playing for England, crowd shouting your name. I'm going to help you get to your 100. And I'm like, Thorpe, man, listen, this wicket's not that great. We've got debutants playing, Aftab Habib, Chris Reed, Ramps didn't get none in the first innings, and then we're into the bowlers, Tufnell. And so I'm like, if the ball's there, just hit it. Don't let mess around, whatever. I'll have another chance to do it, because that's how I was. I was quite, I wasn't shy of a big statement when I was younger. I was like, I'll get a chance again. Don't worry about that. Like, let's just win this game. So anyway, as the runs are whittling down, the crowders start thinking, hang on a minute, this young man might not get to his 100. So they start booing. They're booing, like every time 4P's hitting like runs, they're boo, boo. At the time I'm thinking, what's going on? Is someone running on the pitch? We've got a streaker. So the numbers are getting lower and lower. So basically it gets to a point where I have to hit a 6 to get to the 100.
Okay.
So I hit a 4, end up 99 not out. So in a way, as I come off, this has never happened. I'm like casually, and you can look at the footage. I casually take my helmet off, put my gloves in my helmet, and I walk off. But all of a sudden, the crowd start running on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get rushed. So then security are running out, and then they're like like they're shepherding me out. I'm like, what's wrong? I'm just a young youth from South London, and people running out. What's going on? So I'm walking out, and as I do that, someone steals my glove, one of my gloves. And that's another story. So someone said about like stealing my glove. I'm like, what's going on? Like, so then I get off and I go in and lads are fuming, like Tufnell and Butch, like, what's going on? 4P, why'd you not let him get to his 100? You're selfish, like. And I'm like 21 at the time. Like, lads, just chill. We've won a game. We move it on, yeah? No, selfish, cussing, beep, beep, beep. Like, effing and blind. I'm like, wow, what's going on? Wow. And then my coach, Keith Medlicott, shout out to Meds, like, love him to death, like, really close friends. And this is what I'm saying with sport, like, people for life, yeah? He was my coach, but we're good friends, yeah? So Keith Medlicott is coach at Surrey at the time. So Surrey are in Derby, so not too far from Birmingham. So he's Derby. He goes, Al, we got a Sunday league game. Do you want to play? I'm like, of course, coach. Like, got game off. Yeah, I'll come. So anyway, get in my car. Like, after all the like interviews and all this type of things, going mad. Anyway, so because back then it was on Channel 4, so bare people saw it. It was on terrestrial TV. So anyway, get in my car. Needed some petrol. Go to the petrol station. All of a sudden, people starting to recognise me. Like, beep beep. Well done. That innings was wicked. I'm like, what? Yeah, that's wicked. So I'm in there. My phone had died because I had like the Motorola back then, like with the flipping aerial flip thing. You know what I mean? It was one of them ones. You know what I mean? 3 calls after 7, then no one can't get through because everyone's bombarding. It was like 7 to 7 was free. 3 weekends, 7 was free. So anyway, phone's dead. So in a way, I start to get to the hotel where we're staying, and all the lads line up. They line up waiting for me. Because the coach, they wind up like, clapping me in and all that, which was nice. I can imagine what David Beckham felt like if his whole life, I had it for like 2 weeks, where everyone wanted a piece of me, everyone was like sponsors and everything, and da-da-da. It's like, oh, he's going to be the next thing. And my dad's like, no, you're the next Alex Tudor. Because everyone, when you did all right, everyone used to put you in the next Ian Botham. The next Ian Botham, because he was the go-to, he was the all-round at the time, then Andrew Flintoff. Later down the line, but before then, everyone was like, Chris Lewis and Phil DeFret. Everyone, the next Botham. It's like, no, not the next Botham. You're the next. So my dad always just said, no, you're the next. You're the first, or the Alex Tudor. You're not no one else.
It's true.
Yeah.
So in a way, so that was that time, like 2 weeks. So it was like I couldn't go no. Not I couldn't go no. I was going out, so I went to the clubs, went out, and it was just madness. Everyone's like, "Oh, that was unbelievable," because they just see me as a youth from South London.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like national papers. There were billboards made. And all them things. I was on billboards.
You were like driving past.
Yeah. And they put one there. We used to live in Elsfield. There was a billboard like near where we lived in that. Yeah. It was massive. At that time, Channel 4 were going hard with their advertising and stuff. So it was like, so I was on a billboard and all these things. Like people like, I know that you went Wandle and all them things. So that was mad. So that was a nice time. But I mean, I had good people around me, as I said, had good family network, had good friends, and nothing really like. Forget that I play for England, go to the barber shop, you're getting cussed. You know what I mean? And Clinton would tell you the same thing, like he was playing for Palace at the time and running it all that. He come barber shop, he getting cussed, don't care who you are.
Yeah.
And it keeps you grounded. It was like, don't care what you do.
Yeah, it's true.
It was like, we're going to keep you grounded. You're still that, you know what I mean, that lad with, you know what I mean, your ankle swingers and all them things. I remember that, I remember when you were wearing high tech and all them shoes there and, you know what I mean, you didn't have all the name brands and, you know what I mean? You was like wearing trainers with no name and, you know what I mean? The mouth, like the bottom of your shoe was talking. You had to glue it with like super glue. Like Dad ain't buying me no new shoes or anything like that. He's like literally, and that's how it was. And as you say, keep you humble, keep you grounded.
True.
And yeah, that's that 99 story there.
That sounds like such an incredible story.
Yeah. It must have felt so surreal.
It was. It's like a pinch. It's like pinch yourself moment because you know. Don't get me wrong. We're all young, and you know, I'm not young anymore. But when you're young, you have these dreams.
Yeah.
So yours will be. I want to be on stage. I want to be on TV. I want to be out there. I want to be doing movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, you're like, oh my God. I grew up watching people on TV, and then all of a sudden I was their teammate.
Yeah.
And I always and then all of a sudden at 21, because I was young, when they're coming to the back end of their career, I'm in the team with these people that I saw as a school kid on TV. Wow. And it is a pinch yourself moment. Hang on a minute, that's Michael Atherton, that's Nasser Hussain, Mark Rambercash, Alex Stewart, Graham Thorpe, Graham Hick, Tufnell. Goff, I watched you lot on TV when I was a youth. Yeah. Now I'm in the team with you. I got your number. I'm going to your houses. I'm rolling with you. And like, this is weird. So it can happen to you in that field. You could be starting off and all of a sudden you could be you could be Denzel. Yeah. With Denzel. And all of a sudden, hang on a minute. You're a myth. Like, I'm with you. It could be anyone in that realm. And it does happen. You know, my cousin Giles, who's big in the theatre world and done stuff, you know. He's got Dame Judi Dench on speed dial and them things that when he's done, I'm like, what? That's Dame Judi Dench. That's Q from 007. And he's got a speed dial. He's got all these, like Lenny Henry and all these people, David Harewood and all these people.
You're in the same
circle. Like, they turn out for him when he does stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's unbelievable. But the respect that he's got over the years and the credit from that hard work that I saw when we were at the family dudes and he's got his guitar and he's just there playing it. I didn't know that it was going to turn into man's winning a Olivier for Hamilton and them things there. But it started somewhere. That dream, it started somewhere and it got him to where he was. And it's just incredible. And it's like, man, it's a blessing. And, you know, proud of him. But you know, anyone that gets to their end game, like, so, you know, you start off small and then you get there. I have respect for people because I know the hard work it takes to get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I say, I know the hard work it takes to get there. And, you know, as I say, I wish you lot all that you get there, you know, and sometimes there's a frustration. You're thinking, because some people just need to get into the door. Some people on paper, it may not sell, but when they speak, because some people are impressionable when they speak with someone, so it's like getting that opportunity. Yeah. And I always say not everyone else gets that opportunity. It's like get in the room.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. Like,
it's just getting in there.
And then you sell yourself, because no one can sell you better than yourself.
Yes, elevator pitch, get it ready.
You understand? Yeah. Get it ready. So like, but it's all different. So when you see someone, sell yourself. Yeah. Sometimes people might think, oh bloody hell, you're really like overly like you're a bit intense.
You're a fan of yourself.
But it's like. You got to do it.
Who else is going to be?
You got to do it. You know what I mean? You got to go out there and you got to do your thing. Otherwise, you get left behind.
Yeah. So with all of these highs, that of course means that there had to be lows.
There's
in
been
your
a few.
career. Yeah. So can we start with the Brett Lee one, and
Yeah.
then we can go on to what you believe it would be your lows. But I feel like in terms of what people would perceive to be a low.
Yeah, let me just. I want to put this out there anyway, because I've seen my man do a few little interviews, and they talk about, man was scared. Listen, I ain't been scared. Listen. Yes, was the man bowling extremely quick on that day, and through his career? To be fair, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, man was bowling fast. Perth, which nicknamed the Whacker in Australia, was arguably the quickest wicket in world cricket, and he had the Fremantle Doctor, which is basically what I'm talking about is the wind behind him. So as he's running in, my man bowls 90 mile an hour regular,
Which is
bowling
crazy.
quick,
That is
right?
crazy.
Between 22 yards, 0 point whatever seconds to
so
try and
fast.
react, right? Man bowl quick, lick me down, all right, cool. But then I heard my man come out saying, man was scared. Listen, no. Don't get it
Clearing
twisted.
it up.
No. Did you bowl quick? Are you the quickest bowler I've faced? Yes. Was I scared? No.
No.
Understand? Get that right. But man licked me down, yeah? And you got to take your medicine, yeah? So man licked me down, and we had a good relationship. Like, we were rolling out at nights and stuff like that, and he came up, asked to see if I was all right and that.
Yeah.
Was in the hospital, had to do all the CT scan, checked heads and all that type of thing. But the thing that was... Well, I look back and I laugh. So obviously I had like a private room and stuff they put me in. And the nurse who was looking after me, she's like, I had the TV in the room. And she's like, Alex, have you seen it? So we seen what? She went, like, you getting licked down. Well, she didn't say that. That's me just. You getting hit. And I was like, no. Boop. Every half hour. You know, because you have the news and then like every half an hour they do the sports.
Yeah.
Listen, it got worse and worse. And like my mum, I could imagine my mum was a panicker. So I remember when I got hit, Mark Butcher, call him cuz, like, come out, see if I'm all right. I said, Butch, first thing you do, you need to phone my mum, please. Because I know she's going to be, mum will be vomiting and all things there. That's what she, you know what I mean, when she panics. I said, just phone her, tell her I'm cool. So that went out. Then my coach, Keith Medleycott, as I said, my boy, he phoned me, make sure I was okay. Adam Hollyoak, my brother, who was my captain at Surrey, loved that guy to death. He checked up on me and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? Also my brother and all those people checked up on me. But yeah, and then the funny thing, I'll come out the day before, and then the England media man says, Al, so you okay? Yeah, cool. But it goes, there's a few press outside that want to, bare press outside, you know. I'm thinking I'm only about 20 people, cameras and all that come out there looking like this.
Oh no.
And I had to go out there and talk about it and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was what it was. And then Alex Stewart, after the swelling went down, he's like, Al, got to jump back on the horse. You know what I mean? Because the longer you leave it, the worse it's going to be.
And the more...
You're right, you get... So man was throwing balls at my head about a few days later. And I was ducking and diving and weaving and that's how it is. And that's sport. Like, as you say, you have the highs, you have the lows, you learn from them, the lows especially. You don't get too carried away with the highs.
No.
And you know what it feels like, and you want it again. So you just got to try and maintain it. I said, like, no one has. Sometimes, and I always remember Mickey Stewart always saying this when he used to talk to us back in the day. He always says, like, your career is like a heartbeat. It goes up and down like this. And it's just like, you know, it's those ones who could just keep it above average and steady. They're the ones that you're talking about, Hall of Famers and people that on that stage, right? And as you say, it will be. Say in the acting world, it's like you get an Oscar and then you need to be careful of what gig you take next. Because as quick as it goes, it can go down, right? Yeah. So you have to be mindful in that world, like what you can take. But then obviously when you get to a level, like say Denzel, scripts are coming to you and you decide what you want. Nah, I'm not doing that one, you give it away. But then you always find the conversation, which, is there any script that you've refused that you regret?
Yeah,
and I love those ones.
Those interviews,
you know what I mean?
Which is always really interesting.
It's always those ones, right? Because you're thinking, and you can't really picture anyone else in that role once you see it.
Yeah,
it's true.
You understand? You're like, oh my God, you got that first, and they refused it, and oh my goodness. So that's, you know what I mean? That's how it is, and it's just like sometimes you need a little bit of luck. You do, yeah, and you need luck within sport. You need to. Some people are blessed with being injury free or having less injuries, and you have some people that are good and you think, oh, they're going to be great, but then they're plagued by injury. And just sometimes just how the dice are rolled. But as I said, if you try and, you know, not say prepare, but you sort of say, so with your body, try and get it right, eat right, sleep right. You give yourself a better chance than if you're burning both ends of the candle. So all of a sudden you're getting a little paper in your pocket, but you want to go out, you want to roll with your friends and stuff like that, but then they're keeping you out late and and you're stopping through, these drive-throughs and not eating the right food, and you're not preparing yourself right. So you just got to give yourself the right chance. Take that opportunity when it comes. Sometimes you don't know when it's going to come, but hopefully it will come. I always say we all have a superpower. Some people don't quite know what it is. We're all good at something. And if you can work out what it is and you can get paid for it, then I always say you're winning in life, guys. So you go out there in the world and you ask your parents, do they enjoy their job? More than 70% no.
Yeah,
Sure.
But they got bills to pay and
Yeah.
food and clothes to put on your back and all that. But it's a 9 to 5, isn't it? And that's what they're doing. But you can, do something that you love and you get paid for it and stuff like that. So yeah, you've won in life, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not a lot of people. You talk about the percentage of, the world and stuff like that. The billions that we have, 7 billion or whatever it is that's on the planet. You're thinking, not many are doing what they love.
No, which is sad.
Which is sad, but I think now the platform and what social media is doing, and people can go out there and do their own content.
Yeah,
And then it's just a case of people have a voice.
Yeah.
Where before people were only putting out one side of things. Now you're hearing the full story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very
It's
true.
like,
Sides to every
I
story.
didn't know that, didn't know that. I mean, we talk about history and stuff. Like I say it to my history teachers at school. I say, when you teach history, sometimes it's a little bit, it's like constantly just like the same thing. But I said, this is a different generation of children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to bring it to the present, but also if you're going to teach it all. Don't just teach some of it. Let people teach it all, and then let people make their own mind up instead of you feel like you're getting taken down one way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
very
teach
true.
it all.
Kind of
It's-
force fed.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, why are you teaching me that? Like, that's not important. I want to know some stuff. And I think about the kids I grew up with who have been told that, academically, you're stupid, and that's how teachers used to talk to you back then. You don't know nothing. It's like, but I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
You teach me something that
I
I'm
want
interested
to
in.
learn.
You tell me about the
Yeah.
black inventors and tell me about, people going and stealing their land because they've got, minerals and all that, and they just come
Yeah.
because they've got the guns and the big arsenal, and they come and take it.
Yeah.
But we had it, and we'd be fine. It's all that type of stuff that they sort of want to take away from history. And I think it's important to and obviously with social media and Google and everything, you can find it. But I said you've got to go and hunt for it.
You got to
You know what I mean?
actively want to
You
find
got
it.
you got to go and find it, right? It's not to find you. You got to go and find it, but it's out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like I would say, an old saying, but like knowledge is power.
Oh, it
It
is.
is. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The mind. Do you want to be? What is it? What Denzel says? Do you want to be informed or ill-informed? You know what I mean? It's just like you want to be informed, man. So you just go out there and you do your research, and so when you present or when you're talking about it, you're talking from a place of I'm well read.
Yeah.
I know my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ain't telling me nothing. We can have a debate.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff I've learned from Dave Chappelle, the comedian. His mother was did black studies at a very high level. So he says all the stuff he talks about is coming from a place of like knowledge. Like he's
Oh,
coming
make it
first hand. His
comedic.
mum is telling him, and he's like telling him. I told our kids because there was some stuff going on, and I told them the Emmett Till story. I never even heard of Emmett Till until Dave told it on one of his specials.
Going back to the highs and the lows of your career, did that affect your mental health in any way? Because I would assume it would, just be constantly battling between that. And as you said, having that heart rate kind of pattern.
Yeah, you do.
constantly
You do. It's massively.
Yeah.
And you sometimes don't know why it is you feel a certain way and stuff like, because sometimes being a man you're sort of too proud to say anything. It's like, no, I'm a man, I can. It's like, no, man, like.
Do you feel like that in sport there's a lot of that toxic?
I think there was back in the day,
Yeah.
not now, because
changing,
mental health is
that's
a real
good.
thing now and stuff like it's most probably gone more the other way now,
Right.
where before it was just like, man up, get on
Yeah.
with it.
Right.
It's like, well, I'm still feeling some stuff over here, but you can't really show that because it showed
Yeah.
weakness.
And it builds up.
Right, and
Yeah.
it builds up, right? So then it's like you go home, you don't be doing. Some people used to hit the bottle, some people were doing all sorts of foolishness, and that's how it manifests itself, right? So it's always important to talk, communicate. Like, you know, I went actually, and I never really speak about this. I actually, at the end of my career, I went to see someone. I went to speak to someone about it, and she broke it down for me, and she was phenomenal. It was just like, oh, you know, you had a bit like what I said at the beginning, where someone's making an opinion on you and stuff, which you had no control of. So I had all these goals, and I'm going to be a one team man. I'm not going to have to go to anyone. I'm going to play for Surrey for the rest of my career. I'm going to have a benefit, which, you know, if you play for a team for a certain amount of years, normally 10 or so, they will give you a benefit because that's shown that you've been with a club and you've been an integral part of that club. So they will give you a benefit, which is then you go out and you try and make some money. And generally it was like players then go and pay off their mortgages and that type of thing. And there was no control because at that time I was getting injured, and obviously they're paying me money, and these people are making like, well, we're paying huge money, but he's not out there playing. So what we're going to do? And like, well, someone's like, we're going to have to let him go. And, you know, and hearing that news and stuff like that, and it was hard, right? And it's how you deal with it, but it's what you just, right, okay, move on to the next thing. But that's still not really been dealt with. You know what I mean? So you doing that, you just get up and you just go on and you do the next thing, you go, but then it does come back at some stage, right? And it's just, but you know, as I said, I've been fortunate and lucky. I've had good people around me. Seeked advice, got advice, and then you process it, you deal with it, and it's just constant. And I always said, I remember when I went and I said to a good friend of mine, I said, you should offer this to everyone who comes out of the game, because I've seen people out there when they come out, be it whether it's been their decision or not, and a lot of people do not get time or get the opportunity to call it like, I'm retiring. You are retired. Yeah. People are making that. It's
you don't
like,
get to choose for yourself.
right,
Yeah.
and it's important that it's important that they go and process it, get help with it, because you know, you do find a lot of, say, not bitter, but they're angry, be it through whatever it is. And I just think it's a way of, you know, sort of dealing with that. It's up to them whether they want to. I think it would be a good thing to do. It worked for me and for others. But I just thought, yeah, you know, you need to maybe offer this to everyone's come out. Yeah, go for a consultation. Whether they want to follow up, that's totally up to them. But I think just have that one, just sit down and just have a talk. You know, a lot of people, they just don't talk no more. It's so important to just, you know, even when you're beefing with friends or whatever, it's like some people don't want that uncomfortable conversation. But once you've done it, you feel so much better.
Yeah,
And you just feel like, oh my God, actually, and I always say things are not as bad as you actually think it's going to be. Even when it's horrible. It's like, once you're sat down and you're doing it in a certain way where, you know, you're hearing what both people are saying or whoever it is, it could be a group of people, and you're just having that truthful conversation, and then hopefully you can unpack it and then just deal with it and stuff like that. But it's like people just scared of that, not scared of that, they just don't want that awkward conversation. And then it just goes on, and you hear about them years and stuff where people are not talking. Like you said,
it's a silly thing as well sometimes.
And it's just like, and you're just thinking, like, we wasted all that time for something so stupid. It's like, it makes no sense, but people are going to deal with it. How they're going to deal with it? You know, as you say, you take a horse to water, can't make it drink. So, and that's how you can't fix everybody. You can't help everyone. Some people got to get there on their own. And that's like, some people got to actually get there on their own. I say, like, the penny will drop or whatever. I used to say it with kids. The penny will drop with them at some stage. Hopefully it's not too late, but hopefully it will get there. It's just when it gets there. And I see it every day at school. You know, a kid who was most probably getting it wrong when he was younger, all of a sudden he's turned himself into a good human being. Later it's like something, a penny drop moment. Sometimes don't know what it is, but you're thinking, oh man, is that the same kid? Wow, yeah. Amazing, they've turned it round. And a lot of them do.
What advice would you have given to your, let's say, your 15-year-old self, knowing everything
it's a good question.
that
Good
you
question.
know now? What advice would you have given to yourself?
And this is good because a few years ago, so at the school we have pupils that come back, and on Leavers Day they come and give a speech. And this one kid came back because at the time my best cricketer that I've had at the school at Kimbolton, he was head boy, so I wanted to support him. So I went and listened to his speech and stuff. But the guy who came back was he made a really successful business. I think he was like doing shavers. He was like not quite Gillette, but he's on that path, like the third biggest or something, right? And that question was asked, and he said, "Get off the phone." He said, "Get off social media, get off the phone, embrace what you are, what you have now. Take it all in, because you say sometimes you take it for granted when you're there. You take it for granted. It's like they come back and they think, oh my God, look at this. We had a castle and we had all these facilities, and we just sort of took it for granted because it was just there. It was that sort of expectancy type thing, that entitlement type thing." Yeah. So I would just say, 15 years self, I mean, I was a dedicated 15-year-old. I loved my sport. I was obviously well into my cricket at that stage. What I'd say, I most probably would have said, work more on my legs. Because obviously I like the gym and stuff, and every day's chest day. But I think I would have worked on my lower half more, because especially as a bowler, all your body force and all your work is going through your knees and your legs. It's like, get that right, make that stronger, because then hopefully that would have held me better as I got older. But I don't have any regrets. All I just say, listen, and I say to young people, like, listen, you got to embrace technology, because it's here, it's there, you know what I mean? But don't let it dictate your life. Like, get out there, go out, meet people, have those talks. Just get out. I mean, Alex Stewart and Mark Ramsey say it to me all the time, Al. Just go and meet people. You just don't know where it's going to lead you in life and stuff like that. And then it's well, you don't know the connections. Go out there, man, and mingle. Just go and mingle. People that have been successful people that are good, not say they're good talkers, but they go out there and they just talk with people. Just be real. You can go to anyone. I always say that to my kids. I said, look, when I was at school, I could mix with anyone, not just the cool kids, the sporty kids. I rolled with everybody. I didn't feel like they didn't feel like I was using them, or I was not bothered. I was just doing my thing. I was just chilling. I was on a flex and just don't feel like to play with you lot today. I'm over here, and no one, and it was cool. And that's how it was, man. Like being like a chameleon. Like you could just you go into a room and you'll be okay. Not like oh my God, you stand out. Like, you shouldn't be here. It's like, no, man, I belong in here. What? Just because what you like, CEOs of companies and saying what? Just because you're I can roll with you. Let's talk.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
that's it.
Very good advice to be able to just talk to anyone and have an open mind. Really.
Have an open mind, man. Yeah, have an open mind. Don't let some people like you're taking all this information and then you decipher what it is that you want to take from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, Alex, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure. Thanks to me, man. Thanks, man. It's been great.
It's been very insightful. You have some great stories. We will see all of you guys next week. Bye.